All right, Ian.
Yeah. Okay. Playdate.
The little handheld that was announced last year in the fall is we had a great update video that was released. Lots of good information in here.
I don't want to sound like overly effusive, like I'm coming on too strong to Playdate here. But that's how you do a press release. Is how they did it. So it was a good one. Playdate had to delay the product last year due to COVID. They said that we would get an update this year. Came to us a little. It's coming to us halfway through the year, and the update. There was a few main things that were announced. When you can do the pre-orders.
Maybe we should recap what this is first.
Yeah,
people.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Playdate is a tiny handheld unit. It's a square. It's a yellow square. It has a black and white super reflective screen. There is no backlight. I was right about that.
You shouldn't need it in theory, right?
No, shouldn't need it in theory. Highly reflective screen. 2 buttons, an A and a B button, a cross pad, and the neat little gimmick on it is a little crank that folds to the side.
Metal crank
of the
swings
unit
out.
that you can swing out and rotate
clockwise, counterclockwise.
So they have positioned it as basically a cheap handheld system that is going to have a bunch of fairly well-known indie developers making suites of games for it called Seasons. So when you buy the Playdate, when you get the first Playdate, it will come with Season 1. And what Season 1 was going to be was 12 games that release one a week for a series of 12 weeks. And basically, it keeps everyone playing the same thing at the same time so that there's discussion about the games.
You missed the point. I can't believe you missed. It's in collaboration with Teenage Engineering.
I'm going to get to that more when it comes to the stereo dock.
Okay, but I thought that's important to realize this is a real company with hardware experience that they're collaborating
Playdate,
with.
The company
Panic
is the company that's making the Playdate, but they have collaborated with Teenage Engineering to make it. I personally have some Teenage Engineering products. They are extremely well made.
So there's a track record to parts of this company. Like, this is a company that's put out hardware before.
And Teenage Engineering has done lots and lots of hardware. And they know how to make something appealing to use. They know how to get bang for your buck out of their stuff, too. So basically, like I said, to Seasons. So 1 game a week. That way it keeps kind of the focus on one game that everyone can kind of discuss and play together. Kind of like an accelerated Book of the Month or Game of the Month club. Those things have become, Book of the Month clubs have always been popular.
We all play the same game at the same time.
Right. So that's very neat. This update starts with letting you know, announced in this update, the 12 games in Season 1 it's turned into 24.
So you're going to get 2 a week.
You're going to get 2 a week.
12 weeks. That's nuts.
That's crazy. That's included. So you get 24 games included with the system that unlock over 12 weeks. And the price did get a bump from $149 to $179.99. Given the manufacturing situation and the fact that they're giving you 12 additional games, I can't really fault them for that.
Pat, man, that's like 17% increase. That's not horrible.
Given the price increases we've seen on some things over the past couple of years, this is a very reasonable price increase.
That's not bad.
No.
It's not doubled.
They very nicely announced that pre-orders will begin in July. And
open
pre-orders.
Open.
Going to get into that in a second. And then they showed a bunch of new games and some clips of old games. Some things I want to talk about real quick.
You want to run down the list, bullet points in order? Or no? I got here?
Sure. We can do that.
Because that's the order of the video. So they revealed this stereo dock, which is a cube-shaped, same color of the Playdate yellow, a magnetic dock that's also is a Bluetooth speaker and also charges the device and has a cute little stand. It reminded me, this is maybe how they designed it. It reminded me of like those little TVs you take to the beach in the 80s.
Yes.
With a little like stand on the side and it tilts up. And there's pen holders on the top.
That is 100% that is very much a Teenage Engineering sort of thing. Just like
a kitschy retro sort of thing.
Yes.
Because that's the one thing.
The second I saw that on the update, I was like, TE is making that. That
was their idea.
Their design aesthetic is hard to fucking miss.
Yeah, it's like a simple little stand like a little, like a metal stand in the bottle, like probably swings out, and it looks adorable. It's not something when I first saw this, I'm like, wow, this could be something that almost everyone would want to pair with this device, because then it's a way to have it be cute on your desktop and to play music. And it includes their music suite, like their beach theme music suite.
Yeah,
They really, which has like little cute little, like it has little graphics of like the little like little sea theme and stuff, like the beach. I'm like, that's a really cute idea, and a great way to have your gaming device do something totally removed from gaming that you didn't think you needed until you saw it. Again, this is not going to be included in the stand. We don't know what the price of the stand is going to be. This dock, Zero Dock, that's going to be a large component in terms of how many people are going to buy this. Hopefully, it's like $50 or so. Like a Bluetooth speakers are usually not that much money, but you hope something like that. It won't be that powerful probably, but we'll see how powerful the speakers. But it's just a cute little way to incorporate into your everyday life. Have it on your little desk. You can look at your little Playdate and play music. Like, it's brilliant.
It's a neat way to it's a neat way to tackle the charging dock situation and make it something much more interesting.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it and I go, well, this is not something people need. And teenage engineering is very good at making things people don't need that are very appealing. But you look at it and you go, this is my charging station, and it, like you said, it displays it nicely, and it has the added bonus of having the music included with it.
It makes it a second device.
Yes.
It's an upsell, obviously. If it's cheap enough, I can picture like the majority of people wanting to get this thing.
Yes.
That's the key. I mean, it's a Bluetooth speaker, so I'm hoping it's not going to cost that much money. It shouldn't cost $100 for a
They've made very, very nice, expensive speakers, but I don't think they're going to be putting that same technology into these.
No, the speaker's too small in this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you can get a freaking big Bluetooth bar speaker for like $45-50, like a big one. So I can't picture this being a lot of money. But like I said, we'll see. Depends also how well this stuff is made, the Bluetooth speaker. But if it's the same quality as a Playdate, yeah, it's just adorable. I
said, teenage engineering is known for making. They've made speakers before.
Like you
so
drop this from 10 feet, it still works. Hopefully. So yeah, season 1, 24 games. Some of the games looked fascinating, and what I like about the Playdate is that, of course, this is the only. These games are exclusive in that they cannot exist outside of this system.
They literally cannot exist outside of it. Well, some of them could. But I mean,
not on the hardware. I mean, with the crank especially.
A lot of them that use the crank. They did a very good job in this video of showing what the special features can be used for. Instead of saying, "Hey, we've got this and that, and it's going to be revolutionary," they actually took the time to show you what these can be used for. So they showed. So the first game I think they ever showed was by Keita Takahashi, the guy who made. Katamari Damacy. Mm-hmm. That's the one where you rotate the crank and you make the robot run through the landscape.
They get suplexed at the end.
Yeah. Does a really good job of showing off the crank. The driving game, they showed a driving game that shows off the crank really well.
Like a single screen driving game with the crank. It's your wheel, basically. That's fantastic.
But I think one of the games that showed off the use of the crank best is actually, it was just announced in this this video, and we were going to talk about it, was the Wipeout. Now I can't remember the full name of the game. The surfing game that's coming from Chuhai Labs. That looks like the old California games surfing.
Whitewater Wipeout.
Whitewater Wipeout. Looks like a mixture of like the TNC surfing and the California games surfing. And that's great because you surf along the wave, and as you go up and you need to spin, you actually rotate the crank to do the spinning, and it makes a lot of sense. I also want to point out that Chuhai has, I don't know if they planned this, but with their 2 games that they've produced, they have now become the premier developer of games that involve you spinning boards with your feet.
Extreme sports.
between carved snowboarding and this, they really have
skateboarding's next.
A niche. And then there's other like more clever uses.
There's a little like pinball sort of one with the ball going around.
Yep, I thought that looked really cool.
There's like a almost like there's like an adventure game, like a noirish looking adventure game.
Yep,
where you have to like solve some sort of mystery. Lost Your Marble. That's the marble.
Yeah,
one.
That one looked really good to me. And then there was one that was only shown as early development. I wish I could remember the guy's name, but the guy who made Papers, Please and Return of the Obra Dinn is working on one that looks like It looks like it makes you a doorman at a club for Martians. And it was a very simple use of the crank, but it was satisfying. You hear a knock at the door, and he literally turns the crank to do like that
it's a little slot in the window.
little eye slit thing, and then you can look around and see what's out there. And I have no idea what that's going to be, but it looks neat. And
The dev said he has no idea what it's going to be.
But
it's
I
like,
want to
hey,
see where it goes.
I'm not saying all these games are going to be super simple concepts, but when you're forced, it's like anything else. When you're forced to do something that's simple in any form of art, it makes your mind work harder to make something unique. And that's why I like this console.
Me too. People looked at it, and instead of just trying to put every other game that's ever been done on another system on there, or resorting to shovelware, the games that we've seen have clearly, the Playdate has caused some inspiration to developers.
This isn't just a Game Boy. Yeah, you can do a Game Boy style game, but this isn't the point of this so far. What we've seen,
simple additions and restrictions lead to
you got a fishing game.
Of course,
Real Steel.
Lead to people doing great things. And that's what I like about this. We're going to actually see unique things come out of this.
Yes, I'm more bullish on this than I thought I'd be after seeing this. I'm like, this is well thought out. They have talented people involved. They actually have hardware being shown that's finalized, and like that's what you're going to get.
And these are developers that have a pedigree behind them too. People like Ben Foddy, Zach Gage, Kaida Takahashi. We've got the people at Shuhai. So these are developers that know what they're doing,
and they're trying something new. It's like, okay, let's. It's like a collective of like, okay, this is an interesting community we're going to build up from the ground up. It's great that they got everyone on board.
It's very exciting, and it's very reasonably priced.
Yes, it is. More importantly, that they touch on. For now, we have more details about their game builder called Playdate Pulp.
Jesus, how did I even? Yeah, like
that builds upon the fact that included will be this game editor that you can use on your computer, and you don't need any coding knowledge to make your game. And obviously, we've seen this. They even touched upon the predecessor. I forget which one. They mentioned the name one. God, I forget it. They're crawling. They're standing on the shoulders of other ones that have been developed the past years. These simple game builders that are online that you'll be able to make your own game and then put it on your Playdate and try it out.
Yep.
And I can see that being something where, well, if they create their own store, maybe they can curate games, or that leads to that. Like,
or there'll be a website, dedicated to side loading these games on your computer.
Sure.
But this is, I'm so excited.
Because like, hey, if you want to make your own little RPG, go ahead and do it. But like, maybe people try to be inventive and you incorporate the crank to do stuff. And I think it's a simple thing. It's like, okay, we added one unique feature, the crank, forcing everyone to think of a way to use this uniquely for each game. And I think that I underestimated how brilliant that could be. The fact that just that crank alone makes this an entirely different type of system.
Yeah, like I said, you take something that seems so silly. You take a system that's got restrictions that already brings up creativity, but then you restrict it. But then you add one thing.
Something that
you add one thing that nothing else has ever had, and they don't require that you use this crank. But a lot of people are going to be drawn to it because it's going to create a lot of very interesting small experiences. But
it's tactile.
But it obviously got everyone's creative juices flowing.
And it's tactile.
Yeah,
you can say, oh, it's just like an analog. It's tactile. You go back and forth. You can slow it up easier. It's a piece of metal on the crank. There's something interesting here. It's like closer to like a pinball machine, how you're interacting with the machine. So and in terms of the actual presentation, like you touch on, I mean, they obviously, it's kind of like the same style as Nintendo Direct, which has become like the de facto sort of like professional, clean style, but still fun. They knocked it out of the park.
They showed a lot of they said what they needed to. They came across as friendly. They didn't waste a lot of time. They showed a lot of content. They showed games. They showed
dozens of games.
They showed people playing games. They showed games using the unique features. They made their case for their system very well. And then I also want to commend them for the end of the presentation where they announced the pre-orders and very clearly say, look, we talked about this, but I really love how clear and transparent they're being with their customer base. We don't think we're going to sell out. These are going to go up in July. We're not going to close these orders.
But first ordered, first get.
First come, first serve.
Because of manufacturer.
So
potential
hopefully
issues,
we'll
yeah.
have enough for everyone to get this first batch at the same time. But if not, just place your order and we'll put you in a queue and we'll let you know when you're going to get it. And we're going to manufacture until we can get these out. There is no fear of missing out. There's no, obviously if you want one right away, sure, get up and do it. But there's no fear of missing out. There's no worry of scalpers.
Money back anytime.
Money back anytime.
They said we're going to be transparent with you along the way.
And they said, yeah, there may very well be delays, but they're going to let you know early and they're going to let you know quick.
They said we're going to be transparent, let you know. So I'm like, wow, this is like the best PR ever. You said exactly all the things I whine about all the time. You mean about like when companies go bad. This is exactly how you do
they
PR.
They didn't, but I feel like they went through our checklist of complaints about
said, okay,
previous.
What's Pat E saying? Okay, we got that.
They literally hit everything on
which
on
is
that,
again, some weirdos got after us because again, there's two companies we harped on in general about us. The Play Magi was the worst offender was with the console that's still not out. The fucking
Polymega.
The Polymega is like they're like, well, they don't have to be transparent to you guys. It's like it looks fucking horrible when you don't do good PR. It's not just bad for your existing customer base, but any potential people or anyone looking at like what's going on with this company.
Right.
We just don't know what's going on with the Polymega. By the way, we have no clue. They've missed so many dates of getting this thing out, which is not always their fault. But you got to let people know what's going on.
Yeah, it's one of the rare times where I really want the product and I'm going to feel fairly comfortable about giving my money to the people making it.
Yeah, they got the infrastructure in place. They got the games lined up. Like I said, I'm really interested that they didn't mention the pool suite. That's the suite with the dock. I want to know the stereo dock price. I want to know. That's maybe that they're too early to know the final locked in price on that. But they showed it being used, so they got it. They got at least a working prototype or production prototype for that. Yeah, I'm in for one, Ian. I'm in. We're in the silver age of handhelds. Like I said before, we got
it's gonna be fun.
Analog Pocket gonna be coming out, and we got the Playdate.
The Evercade is out. People are loving that.
We got the Evercade. And then we got the one I always forget to buy, the Ardu Boy. So
Ardu Boy. I love the Ardu Boy. And I'm actually excited. The Ardu Boy finally shipped out their first batch of the Ardu Boy FX units, and they're doing pre-orders for those now too. So I'm actually probably going to get one, even though I have two standard Ardu Boys. The Ardu Boy FX is essentially, it's the same, but it's got a multi-cart built in with 200 of the games from the community. Well, so it makes it a lot easier. You don't have to constantly swap stuff in and out.
Maybe I'll pick that one up. Maybe I'll start like the 2020s handheld collection.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought? Who'd have thunk, Ian?
I'm in. I'm so happy. So happy.
You're in what is it? Is it hog heaven? That's the
hog
term?
heaven.
Hog heaven.
Hog heaven.
Oink oink.
Oh.
You okay, Ian?
Oh.
Do you want to do a See a podcast game? We can incorporate the crank for like the microphone going away from us and coming forward to talk into. That could be like a rhythm game.
I was gonna say like some sort of CU podcast rhythm game, right? Yeah.
Well, we have developer friends now out there. We'll call it On the Mic. There you go. That'll be our game.